Everyone, good evening and welcome. My name is Becky Humphreys, and I am a National Vice President, Independent Consultant with Arbonne. It is really my treat to welcome you on the call tonight. And I, first and foremost, just want to give you a huge shout out and congratulations for making a decision to take the first step forward in faith that may be a total life changer. We don't know necessarily what that is going to look like for you. As your coaches, part of the fun for us is really helping to walk through this time frame and discover all of the ahas that you learn along the way. So it's as much a treat for us as it is for you to discover those ahas. And I know this is toward the end of our day one, since we just started this morning, May the 1st. So some of you may already be feeling the effects of eliminating a couple of things from your diet today, maybe cutting out coffee this morning, maybe eliminating dairy has been interesting, or gluten, or even having, an evening splash of wine. That is all a part of this process, and we have all been there with you. I assure you, everyone who is serving as a coach during our May 30 Days to Healthy Living has done the do, and we get it. We get how hard this is. So kudos to you, though, for taking that first step in faith and saying, you know what, this is my time, and I want to really do something to impact my life in amazing ways. And maybe it's not just for you, but it might be for your family. I've seen several posts on our team page about how you definitely want more energy to enjoy your family, how you just want to feel better. And I think that those are incredibly powerful and inspirational goals that you're bringing to the table. So just a couple of housekeeping things that I want to share this evening with you. One of those things is every Monday is kind of going to be a reporting day from the standpoint of getting your weight measurement and inches measurement to a designated individual, and her name is Casey Fleischer, and I can repost that or give you a private message if you need that reminder. But that's just once a week. And we definitely advocate not weighing yourself frenetically and constantly during the challenge. That doesn't serve you because weight and inches can fluctuate on a daily basis, sometimes for some of us an hourly basis. So we really just use that as a benchmark. It is only reported for the purpose of helping to keep you accountable. No one else sees that number, so it is it's truly just a private message thing, and we appreciate you for giving that information, and we'll remind you on a weekly basis when we need that information. The second thing is, don't be afraid to reach out to your Arbonne coach with questions. Sometimes I know when we're trying anything new, we're thinking like, okay, I can totally conquer this, but we don't want you to suffer in silence. We really think it's so important to reach out. And even if it's a small, finite little question, you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing here, just reach out and ask your coach that question. That's what we're here for. We may not even know the answer, but we have amazing resources like Whitney that we can go to if we do have questions emerge in the challenge. We will find that information for you. So don't feel like you have to wait in the wings and suffer in silence. If you're having an issue or concern or just a simple general question, we really encourage you to reach out. We are all just so inspired by the work you have done to say yes to starting May 1st today together. So congratulations, a huge congratulations to everyone on the call tonight. It is my pleasure to bring forward on the line in just a moment our amazing Whitney. Whitney is, she's been in the fitness industry for 30 years, more than 30 years, as a collegiate strength and conditioning coach. So she knows what she's talking about. She's done the do, and she has worked with so many professional and pre-professional athletes. She's a personal trainer, a CrossFit gym owner, and a fitness consultant. And she provides one-on-one coaching services and workshops for individuals and businesses. So it's truly an honor, you guys, that Whitney has been open to partnering with us for our May challenge. This is a first for our group, and I know we're going to be blown away with the information that Whitney is bringing to us. So without further ado, Whitney, I would love to have you come on the line and share the amazing benefits of what we're going to be walking through in the next 30 days together.
Thanks, Becky. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. Hi, everybody. It's such a great honor to be here. It's so much fun, and this is going to be an amazing challenge. I have a lot to offer you. I've done years and years of these challenges. I know all the ins and outs, but your Arbonne coaches know a great deal too. I'm not going to focus so much on the challenge itself and all the nutritional details. I've seen a lot of the posts on the Facebook site, and they are top-notch, awesome posts. You have some great coaches. What I am going to do is go above and beyond the challenge here with nutrition, and I'm going to talk about things that really make a lifestyle change for you, and we're going to practice some of those things and get introduced some of those things. Because in all my years as a coach, when you're personal training people or when you're trying to change people, you get very intimate with everyone, and so you start to really understand their problems and intimate details and what is going on. And most of the change happens outside of the gym. Most of the change happens off the playing field. Most of the change happens, well, for starters, in the kitchen, but also it starts here and it starts here. And when you can get those two things congruent, then you can make big changes happen. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about big changes. So we're here in day number 1. Okay, I've been through a lot of these challenges. This is the day where you go, oh crapitola, what have I done? I'm in this, right? I'm in this now. I understand that first day, and there's a series of things that you could possibly go through in this challenge, which I'm sure your coaches can explain to you, but I am going to go through later on, just one at a time, so that we can really see what we're going to have to go through in this challenge. Now, I'm a straight shooter, right? I'm going to tell you just how it is. And oftentimes that gets me in trouble, but that's how I am. I'm going to tell you what's going to work and what's not going to work. I've seen it happen. I'm not going to waste your time with a list of 10 ways to get rid of belly fat. Okay, I'm going to tell you what's going on here. You know, I want to first talk about adaptation, because what happens over the years, I'm over 50, I've been in the fitness industry my whole life. I have seen adaptation, because back in the day, we started with whole foods. We didn't have a lot of processed foods, and that's what we ate, a lot of whole foods. Relatively speaking, the population was generally fit. Then we saw some diet trends. So we saw, let's see, low fat, high carbs, low protein, high protein. Right now, we're in a high fat phase. And why? Because we're all about adaptation. Because in the last handful of years, we've been in a high carb phase. So what happens? Your body adapts to high carbohydrates. And the changes that you make, if you make your body now into a more fat adapting body, you are going to see change. Straight shooter, the real thing is balance. You want to create balance, and you want to get back to your natural state of really understanding your body and when you are hungry and what is natural for your body to consume. And it is what the challenge is presenting to you, today is the whole foods and take out the toxins. I mean, I even learned something from that toxin post. I didn't know, how many nutrients are really removed from a vegetable, with toxins as opposed to not. So, this is all really good information. I encourage you to really read it. So we're going to get started, and one of my main things is I work with people's beliefs, and that is huge. Over the years, nothing has changed with that. If you change your belief, you can change your life, okay? Nothing's changed with the belief thing. One of my little mottos, one of my trademarks is this: MC, my consciousness, equals my belief, me, right? So your consciousness is you, and that's what you're made of, is everything that you believe about yourself. When you can change a belief, you have done a great job of changing yourself, okay? Now, I'm gonna get into, if you really want to make a permanent lifestyle change, then you want to change your belief. How do you change? There's a few ways, and there's probably more than this, but one is just trying. We're adaptive people, so if you try, if you step out of your comfort zone, if you step out of your box, then things are going to happen. You learn, you're either successful or you learn. Unfortunately, some people feel like they're failures, and so they quit. That's the worst thing that you can do, is quit. You're in a game of life right now, and the only way you are going to lose is if you forfeit. Please do not forfeit. We're all on your team, and we've all been through a lot of experience with these challenges. I'm going to tell you a story that you're probably going to laugh at, but I'll tell it to you later. So the changes, one is try and get out of your box. Second one is habits. That's huge. If you can change some of your habits, then you're going to make long-lasting changes to your life. Okay? We're gonna be focusing on a lot of habit changes. Another one is reflection, self-contemplation, being in the moment, getting real with yourself, and that on the same lines is acceptance. One of the hardest things that we as humans will do is be ourselves, make the mistakes that we're going to make, and then also be vulnerable to be accepted by others, okay? You can change through logic. So if she can do it, I can do it type of thing. It's been done before, then I can do it. If it has been done before, yes, you can most likely do it, okay? Visualization, we do that a lot in sports. So some visualization techniques. One thing I will say about visualization is the power of attraction, okay? There's a lot of things going on about the power of attraction. I don't know about you, but I've tried it. I've sat for a week hoping for $5,000, and well, it never came, okay? And that is because you have to have the congruency between your mind and your heart. So you really have to believe yourself in order to make that happen. So we're gonna, again, it all goes back to belief. We're gonna try to make this and this happen and make change happen, okay? And then through meditation and prayer, I'm a very spiritual person. I have had a spiritual teacher for 28 years who recently just passed away. I totally believe in meditation and prayer. There is a method to that as well. So if somebody tells you just meditate and you'll see change happen, well, it's possible, but if you don't have a little instruction in that, if you don't really understand where you're going and why you're doing it and what you're doing, then it's really hard to make that change happen. Okay, so that being said, we are going to focus on some habits, and we're going to incorporate them into this challenge. And one of the first habits that we are going to incorporate is reflection. And what we're proposing that you do is write a reflection every day on the Facebook page, and there will be a post that says reflections. All of the reflections for every single day go into that one post. We hope. We've never done it this way before, so we're hoping that will work. So every day you find that reflection post and you write a reflection in it. Now, a reflection could be, hey, I had a good day. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't really matter what you put into it. But, you know, I will say that the people who do look within and maybe say, you know, hey, I didn't do so well today, or I had, you know, a problem with food, or I had a problem with alcohol, or I had a really rough day and this threw me over the edge. If you do say that and just, you know, really look within and also express it on the page, then things come out of it. And here's where the story comes in. I failed miserably at these challenges when I first started. And one particular challenge, I felt like I was under a lot of stress. Again, that could be your beliefs telling you that. But, and I got into the habit of coming home and drinking wine when I got off work and it was the end of my day. Man, I couldn't kick that habit. And so finally, in one of the challenge, I just fucked up, you know, and I wrote, I drank wine, right? I drank wine, and I was like, oh my God, I'm supposed to be a leader here, and I'm confessing I drank wine. Nobody said anything, right? And so then I thought, all right, well, that felt kind of good. So the next day, wine. That's what I wrote, wine, for a few days, for like 5 days, 5 or 6 days. And then I got sick of myself. I got totally sick of myself, and I said, okay, I'm going to do something about this. And I totally was able to stop that habit and change that habit and start actually fully participating in the challenge in the right way. But perfectionism, which I'm going to talk about later, doesn't have to happen. If you can do your best and communicate, especially communicate with the coaches, if you're having some kind of issue with, maybe your anxiety or a mental or psychological block, you can always, I'm inviting you to go ahead and message me on the Facebook page, and I will respond, okay? So, reflection. Every night, I want you to write a reflection. It can be whatever you want, and it'll be in that reflection post, and it will be worth points. We're gonna add a few points, and we're gonna do something with the points at the end. So I really would like you to try and add them up and keep track of them. Put them in your phone, put them on an Excel spreadsheet, anything. Just try and keep track of the points. It is a habit that we are going to adopt, and habit promotes change. It also promotes a reflection, looking within, acceptance. So if you say, hey, wine, I drink wine, then hey, you're putting it out there. It's really scary, but once you put it out there, you can be accepted for what's going on, and that promotes a lot of great change, okay? So not necessary for you to confess, but if you do, that would be great. If you don't, lie and stick in the challenge, because we really want you here. You're gonna learn a lot. So just lie. And if you can tell one of the coaches, that's great too. If you can, get on the Facebook page and just message us or message your Arbonne coach, awesome, okay? So the rules of the game, because we're gonna have a little point system here, is every night just reflect. You're gonna get on that reflection post, and you're gonna post between the hours of 7 p.m. and midnight the next day. So right now, you've done your first day, and it's time to reflect. It'll be on the Facebook page if it isn't already, and you just write whatever you feel. Like, I'm off to a good start, it's great. That positiveness, if you're feeling positive, if you're struggling, write some struggle, it's okay. So you have till midnight tomorrow to post what happened for today. And but I very much encourage you to to post every night before you go to sleep, because then you won't forget. And believe me, you forget really quickly. If a day goes by, you just forget. So, and then you're going to give yourself 5 points for doing the reflection. You either get 5 points or no points. 5 points or no points for the reflection, okay? Now, we're also going to adopt a habit that we're going to change. Right now, just writing the reflection in the post is a habit. So this week you get 10 points for just writing the reflection in the post, okay? The other thing we're going to keep track of is the challenge nutrition itself, okay? We want to give you 5 points for full compliance. 5 points for full compliance. If you cheat, then you subtract a point, okay? And now a cheat is 1 glass of wine, not 2. 2 cheats is 2 glasses of wine, okay? Take it from me. All right, so 1 cheat, 1 point removed, and so you get a total of 15 points for the day. 15 points every single day, okay? All right, and we'll talk about that. Actually, this might be a good time for questions. I'm not going to answer any, well, just really briefly, I'm not going to answer again any nutrition questions, really. You want to refer to your coaches, anything except for the habits, if anybody's not clear about the habits, or anything about beliefs or changing your beliefs or anything about anxiety. I will be answering those type of questions. So just briefly, if anybody has a question about these rules, about this reflection, then let's go ahead and ask.
The line is unmuted. We'll keep it open, but try and toss out a question, please.
If you have one. So it's clear, everybody understands. Cool.
Awesome. So far, so good. You can always message me a question, and Whitney will be able to answer it. If you don't want to volley it out verbally.
The best plan.
Okay, good. Rhiannon, surely you must have a question. Surely you must.
Well, she cleared up my question on 1 glass of wine is 1 point. Glass.
Right?
Any other questions before we turn it back to Whitney? This is such good stuff, Whitney. I'm so excited for what you're doing for us. Thank you so much. And I'm going to turn it back to Whitney. If you do have questions, feel free to, there's a little chat at the bottom of the Zoom page, and you can always send a message, and Whitney and I will get that, and we'll do our best to answer it. But Whitney, I'll turn it back to you so that you can continue. You're doing awesome.
Okay.
You look fantastic, sister.
Okay, great. Thank you, Becky. All right, so I want to talk. Is it good?
We're good.
Okay.
I see, I hear you.
Okay. All right, so I want to talk about perfectionism or a half-hearted approach. And I'm going to tell you right now, these mindsets don't work. They may get you through 30 days of challenge, but if you want to make real change, you need to really focus and be dedicated to the process. I want to see you make it all the way to 30 days. And it doesn't matter if you've done your, perfect or not. Perfectionism, if you're overly critical of yourself or others, it will take you down deep. There's depression comes from that. There's eating disorders stem from that. Obsessive compulsive behaviors come from that. When I have a client, and I have one right now that I'm working with, his only job is to not be perfect. Okay, that's his only job, because he can't get started unless he is perfect. And so I'm telling him, just write that you're not perfect and continue on. It's okay. So try. I want you to try to step out of the perfection box and give yourself a little bit of break and a little bit of leeway. Okay, a half-hearted approach. Anytime I've seen anyone succeed at anything big, and you know, most of the people that I work with in these challenges have been struggling with weight their whole life. It's painful. It's hard. It's hard to cope with. It's a painful process. Okay, we're trying to make it easier. Okay, but it takes dedication and it takes focus, and it's not just through exercise and it's not just through nutrition. It takes really starting to change those habits, and that's what lifestyle change is all about. Okay. Now I've adopted some principles of successful fitness, and I'm going to go over one right now, and that is, successful people in fitness do the most important things that they need to do, and they do them first, and they do them even if they hate them. Okay? They do them first, and they do them even if they hate them. All right, I'm going to give you an example of a client I had just not too long ago. She came into me and she was 300 pounds, okay? And she didn't want anybody to see her. She didn't want to be, she had a hard time getting around. She did not want to exercise. She did not want to sweat, okay? But she wanted my help. And I told her, look, I will help you. I will come into the gym at 4 a.m., which if anybody knows me is not me, okay? I will come into the gym at 4 a.m. and we will train, but you must do exactly as I tell you to do. And she said, okay. And so I got her into the gym at 4 a.m. We started with a couple days a week, and then we bumped it up a few days. And every day she would tell me, I hate you. I hate exercise. I hate doing this. I do not want to sweat. I do not want to be here. And every day I listened to her do that, but I made her work out. And she did. 3 months went by. She lost over 50 pounds in 3 months. And all of a sudden, one day, what did I hear? I like the bench press. I happen to like squats. All right. There were two things that she started to like. Okay. If you do something and you get started, we are adaptive people. You will begin to get into a habit and you will begin to appreciate what you're doing. Okay. Yeah, it happens. Fitness happens. And you know what? Motivation doesn't fall from the sky. This is what I say. It doesn't open up and the lights come shining down upon you. What happens, motivation happens as you get going. So we're hoping that the motivation builds through this challenge, and I'm sure it will. I'm very confident that it will. One other thing I'd like to really get into your thoughts is that success happens just outside your comfort zone, just outside it. It's a very powerful thing to understand, because oftentimes we're stuck. We're stuck in the same old routines and the same old habits and the same thing, and we're believing we're that same person. But I'm going to tell you, how many people come to me and say, Coach, look at me, you know, I'm fat, you know, I'm really fat, and I really want to lose weight. I want to feel good about myself. And I know there's a fit person inside of me. And you know what I tell them? You're right. There is. There is a fit person inside of you. And that is every one of you. Every one of you. There is a fit person inside of you. There is a powerful person inside of you. There is a person who's going to change and make big changes happen. See? So you can do this. And I'm just 100% supportive. And I know that is the truth. I've seen it happen many, many times. And if it happens to somebody else, it can happen to you. Okay? Now, this challenge, it may not be comfortable. And, you know, like I said, today is, oh crapitola, what I get myself into. I'm going to give you kind of the way that the month kind of goes, okay? So day 1, fear and doubt starts creeping in. Day 2, and this is not exact, but this is the general population. Day 2 to 3, the hangover happens, okay? You get possible headaches, possible fatigue, brain fog, little confusion. Those are day 2 and 3. Day 4 and 5, you might experience a little anxiety, some lack of patience. Try not to punch anybody in the face, okay?
I love it.
Day 6 and 7, it's usually, I'm so tired, I'm going to die, okay? So, you know, you want to give yourself a break. You might want to eat a little bit more on day 6 and 7, or when you feel a little bit fatigued. You know, your body is starting now at this point to adapt to fat adaptation, basically. You know, you've taken a lot of the carbohydrates out of your diet, especially the bad ones. Your body is, you know, expecting that. Your body's expecting those carbohydrates. When you take them out, it's going to go through a big old change. So you're starting to fat adapt on day 6 and 7. Day 8 and 9, because of this, you might have some digestive issues like bloating, constipation, diarrhea. That may happen especially if you had not been eating vegetables before and all of a sudden you're eating a lot of vegetables. That can really happen, okay? Day 10 and 11 is when people usually quit, okay? We don't want you to quit. We want you to hang in there. We want you to hang in there. Just so you know, that's everybody's temptation. There's a few reasons for that. One really big reason is that we have different hungers. And one of the hungers that we have is a varietal hunger. So that means your body and your mind are, you know, really desiring a variety of foods. So here's the thing. You want to do the most important things first and do them even if you hate it. Okay, there's 2 questions that you need to wake up and ask yourself in the morning, every single morning. 1, what am I going to eat today, and do I have enough healthy food on hand for me to get every meal appropriately? And 2, when am I going to exercise? All right, now, do I have enough healthy food at my disposal for the day is very, 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 very important, because you will fail in this challenge if you are not prepared. And it can, you know, it takes a lot of work, especially if it's your first challenge, you know, to try and figure out what I'm going to buy, how am I going to manage this. I mean, even just recently I decided, okay, forget this deal. I'm going to prep all my food on the weekend. And I went out and in the morning I created a meal list. That took me about an hour or so, you know, shopping. Then I love gourmet food, so maybe it took about 2 hours. And then I went to, of course, 3 or 4 different stores to try and buy everything that I need. And I got home, unpacked the groceries, could barely fit them in my refrigerator, and then started prepping. And at 8 o'clock, I was not even halfway done with the prepping, and I was exhausted. Okay, so this is a lot of work, especially if you want variety in your food. And I'm telling you, you need variety even in your food, even if you're the person who can eat that chicken every night and that broccoli and, you know, potato for night after night, eventually you're not going to be able to do that. And I see a lot of people quit because they don't have the variety that they need. So try to experiment. I know that there's meal plans there. Take a few of the meals that you have not tried before and try those meals. And there's a lot of great recipes online. Just if you have in your refrigerator, say you have kale and pork chop, then just Google paleo kale and pork chop recipes, and they will come up. Some of them are not always compliant, so if you have like a recipe with honey in that, you can substitute. I'm sure one of your coaches can tell you what you can substitute it with. Okay, so be conscientious of that. When you get past through this week, usually people, it's okay this week, you kind of have it planned, but plan at least a few meals in ahead, and always have an emergency meal on hand. Always have an emergency meal. So make a backup plan. If your day gets busy and gets carried away, you want to have something that you can do a quick meal with that's a backup, okay? Now, let's see. Oh, I was on day 10, 11, I get sidetracked. See, that's why I have this board to try and keep me focused. But, so day 10, 11, you most likely quit. We don't want you to quit. We want you to hang in there. We want to see everybody through the last 30 days. If you fall off the wagon, get back on, okay? Even if you're AOL for a week, just get right back on, okay? Now, day 12 to 15, these are psychological days, okay? You fight with yourself. You got this and this going on your shoulders. You're comparing yourself to others. The ego is in full force right now, and your brain's desperate to drive you back to the same old habits and same old routines that you're accustomed to for years. Okay, you want to just stick it out. Basically, we want you to stick it out, but we also want you to reach out. If you're having this struggle, I can most likely give you some type of soothing antidote. Okay, and so really reach out. Day 16 and 17, boy, you're in the clear when you get to day 16. Actually, day 16 through the end of the challenge, it starts to feel like home. It's downhill, But when you get right to the end, day like 27, you're thinking, only a few days left. Why should I go all the way? Why should I go all the way home to day 30? We want you to stick it out to day 30. It'll be a very big reward for yourself to stick it out the whole way. At this point, the last days, there'll be other factors involved where you're fighting, though, to go back to those same old habits. Your relationship with food will come into play. So if you're a person who uses food as a reward or comfort or gratification, then all of a sudden it's going to be talking to you to, hey, what am I going to do at the end of this challenge? And you're thinking about what you're going to have for a meal at the end of the challenge. And that's okay. Just be careful with reintroducing foods back to your meal. I'm sure your coaches will point that out and have a lot of tips, because it can really make you sick because you've just taken everything out. So these last days, you're going to start dealing with your actual emotions. Everything in this will pass. It will pass. And so if you can give it some space, I know people say, oh, just be mindful. Well, that's just a broad term, but really, it really means step back and be conscientious when you're having. I know a lot of people who get anxious over food, and if you feel those anxious feelings coming up, give yourself 10 minutes. Just step back, sit on the couch, and ask yourself, what's going on? Why am I feeling this way? Can I calm down? Maybe take some breaths and try to breathe. And I have a whole system for working with this and changing these emotions. And I'm going to tell you, emotional eating is not emotional. There's a lot of components in emotional eating, and it doesn't have to do with emotion. So we are going to learn that in one of the next talks, and I'm looking forward to teaching you that, because that's one of the biggest things, biggest misconceptions, that emotional eating is emotional. All right, so hopefully these feelings, you can get through. You'll have to stick them out. If you are addicted to alcohol or sugar, what I need you to do is boost your carbohydrate intake, and it will help you with that carbohydrate depletion. So that you are allowed sweet potatoes. Those are compliant, I think. Coaches need to tell you, but I want you to at least 50% of every meal to be carbohydrate. And that will help you get through the withdrawal of alcohol and high sugar. So if you're experiencing anxiety, if you feel like you just can't cope and you're going to bust out of your shell, then eat more carbohydrates for the challenge, okay? All right. One last thing I'm gonna finish with here is one of my real main goals for the people that I coach, especially one-on-one, is happiness. Happiness with themselves and their bodies. I've seen a lot of pain and suffering due to body image, and so my main goal is to really help people overcome this body image and feel good about themselves and feel good about their bodies. And one of the things that this cycle of up and down dieting and emotional eating does is it prevents you from being your genuine self. So what happens is when you go through these cycles, then you go through a down cycle, and it takes you all this time to get back up. So, you might feel some shame and guilt, and you might feel discouragement, some depression, and then you build yourself back up, and then, you start feeling fine. It depends who you are, but all these up and down cycles prevent you from being your genuine self and feeling that time with something really genuine that you can do for life, for other people. It prevents you from really fulfilling your true purpose in life. So just know this, that all this up and down stuff with your dieting and these bad habits that you've adapted to are preventing you really from really being that true genuine self that I know is right inside there, that I know is you. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that come out more, and I'm hoping that I can work with you and help you, and I'm hoping this was valuable for you, and I'm also hoping that you'll tune in every Monday night at 7 p.m. We have 4 more sessions with me, and reach out to me if you can. That would be great. So I'm going to turn it over to some questions.
Okay, the lines are unmuted. Any questions? Coach Wolff, I do have a question for you.
Okay.
For our habit this week, our 5 points that we're working on a daily basis, would you like to expand on what that's supposed to look like just for this week?
Yeah, the habit is the reflection. So next week I'm going to give you a different habit, and the week after we will actually incorporate 3 or 4 different habits. But this week I'm giving you a little break. It's the beginning of the challenge. I don't want to overwhelm you with new things. You get 10 points for the writing reflection.
Awesome. Thank you. That totally helps. Any other questions? Whitney, you've been incredible. Oh my goodness. We can feel feel your passion through the video, and I love your heart so much. I love how you share stories of how people have been impacted in small ways that become big ways. I think that many of us who are embarking on our May challenge are looking for just that. So we are so grateful to you for partnering with us and for really dedicating your time and energy and your precious spirit to helping us through this journey. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bless everybody. Love you.
Love you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Fire up. Here we go.
All right. Yeah. Fire it up.
Kyla, next time I'll have Kyla work on a playlist. So we can have a walk-up song.
I like it.
A walk-up song for you.
I like it. Yeah.
You'll do it.
Okay, take care, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Thank you.